This is Dr. Thompson from GOD Radio, and we're so excited today to have the president of the NAACP San Diego branch, Miss Francine Maxwell. Miss Francine, will you take it away and introduce your special guest?
Thank you so much, Dr. Thompson. It is my pleasure to introduce and present to some the incoming health chair for the NAACP San Diego branch, Dr. Jerome Robinson.
Dr. Robinson, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much. Thank you
Well,
for allowing me to be here today.
we have a lot of questions that are going on, especially due to the COVID-19 virus that's going on. As yet, they have now started distributing vaccines. So I'm just going to ask the question: should we take the vaccine or not?
Absolutely. Let me tell you, I took my shot on Thursday, and I was happy to do so. I had no sequelae from that shot. There are a lot of interesting things that people need to know about this vaccine. One of which, it's the safest vaccine that's ever been produced worldwide. Number two, the technology involved in the production of this vaccine is going to get somebody the Nobel Prize coming 2021. And I think that as African Americans, we should take advantage of being able to get that vaccine because it's the difference between you getting a body bag or living a productive life.
So let me ask you this question. What we're really concerned about is that they say that there was a lot of testing done, but not very much testing done on people of color. And so there are some people that say that they don't know how safe it is for people of color to take the vaccine.
Well, let me just speak to that. First of all, the vaccination I got was the Moderna product. The Moderna product was brought to fruition in this country through the work of a PhD researcher, Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett, African American. This is very important. One of the things she insisted on during the study is that they slowed down enrollment so that they could increase the number of minorities and African Americans that were in the trial, and they did so. From my understanding, they had somewhere over 10% of the participants. We're talking about 44,000 people that were involved in this trial. So personally, I think you can feel very safe. The second thing is, in terms of this technology and this platform for developing vaccines, it is by far the safest that we've ever had in this country. Now, we've all gone through vaccinations. We've gone through polio, we've gone through the flu every year. The children have gone through the MMR shots, and there are many shots that we have taken over the years. This technology doesn't involve developing in an egg where you then get the virus in the egg and you harvest it and then purify it, and then that's the vaccine that you develop. Nor is it developed in cell culture. So it's developed strictly by what has happened since 2000. And there's been a lot of technology that has come about in terms of molecular technology, being able to splice pieces of DNA, take them out, study them. And this technology was based on that development. What was done is they took a piece of the RNA from the virus. They developed then a vaccine against that piece of the virus, and that part of the virus was the spike protein, which then attaches to the cell, and that's what causes the virus to be able to get into the cell and then replicate. So this vaccine blocks that, and this is all done without any cell cultures, any egg cultures, or anything else.
So let me ask you this. They said that we don't get a choice on what vaccine that we actually are going to be given. Can we as African American request for Moderna, and is that something that is doable?
I think both vaccines are safe. I was prepared to take whatever vaccine that I was going to receive when it was my turn. As an interventional cardiologist in the hospital taking care of sick patients, I was in line as the first group of physicians to receive this vaccine. So I didn't care whether it was Moderna or whether it was Pfizer. I feel very comfortable knowing that Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett was one of the chief researchers at the NIH that helped develop this vaccine. So it makes me feel even more comfortable that somebody that looks like me developed this vaccine.
So let me ask you: did you have any side effects that took place after you took the dose of the antivirus?
None whatsoever. You feel a little bit of a prick as the needle goes into your arm, but after that, nothing.
Okay, next big question: how do we get it?
Well, depends on where you are in the strata of who is going to be first, second, and third. The first priority was healthcare workers, primary people on the front lines, and then also nursing homes. As you know, nursing homes have comprised the vast majority of the cases in many states in the country and over the world. In some cases, they've been 60% of the mortality, so that was a priority to make sure that nursing home residents receive this because they're one of the most vulnerable. Soon it'll come to folks outside that, and the first group is those that have underlying medical problems and who are over the age of 70, 75. And then it'll filter down to the rest of the population.
Well, I know that we with the San Diego NAACP are very excited that you're going to be the new health chair, and it seemed like it was a media event when you went and got your vaccine. Let's take a look at it real quickly.
This is what they all look like.
I'm here today to demonstrate that I think this vaccine is very safe. And I want to make sure that my community understands that also. I think that this vaccine represents revolutionary technology in terms of its development. And it'll make all vaccines developed in the future model this type of vaccine.
All right, so it looked like it was painless. It looked like everything went well. What is the message to the community? And as our new health chair, what is your message that you want to get out strongly?
Well, my message to the community is this. One of the things is that this vaccine is safe. This vaccine has been tried in numerous African Americans as far as the clinical trials are concerned. Moderna actually slowed down their enrollment in the trials so that they could get enough African Americans. And certainly, there's no question about the history of African Americans and medical trials. We go back to Tuskegee, but there are a number of other significant trials that took place, and particularly among African Americans, which were not according to what we have as the standard for how a clinical trial should be processed now. And there are companies who have been a part of this, and so we should be skeptical. However, the skepticism should not prevent us from being able to benefit from the scientific effort of this clinical trial and this vaccine.
So, Ms. Maxwell, explain to us how you got this coup of an appointment coming in as your health chair.
Well, Dr. Robinson is a member of Black Men and Women United, and so we're together every Tuesday. Sometimes Dr. Robinson finds time in between all the things that he's doing, and he writes articles in the Voice and Viewpoint. So he's educating the community. The NAACP San Diego branch has a season of education. Education changes the narrative in all aspects. So we're going to be educating people about economics, the education department, as well as health. And so I approached Dr. Robinson, and he said he has time, and we are elated that Dr. Robinson, he's going to be introducing us to some things that the community has never known about. And it's one of the first things that we're going to be introducing the community to is a different side to Paradise Valley Hospital. There's some things that are happening there that the community doesn't know about. And as we move and we bend the curve around COVID-19 and opportunities of volunteerism and tours begin, Dr. Robinson is going to be instrumental in making sure that the community comes in to a neighborhood hospital so that they can get reacclimated to their neighborhood hospital.
Well, Dr. Robinson, we're excited about having you aboard. We thank you for giving your time. A lot of people are saying that they're on the other end of the mentorship perspective, but we thank you that you're being continually a part of the village. Any final words you would like to share with the community?
Well, certainly we're going to try some things in terms of education this coming year. The most important thing is to educate people about this vaccine. A lot of folks felt that this vaccine was developed too quickly, but that's far from the case. Remember, we had SARS back in the early 2000s, and then we had MERS, which is another coronavirus. Both of these viruses were very lethal. SARS had a mortality rate of 10%. MERS had a mortality rate of 30%. So we had experience with these viruses, and what was the big revolution was being able to harness messenger RNA, which is a part of the nuclear building block of all cells. Once they were able to stabilize that molecule, they were able to then develop a vaccine, which is now the COVID-19 vaccine. And so I think that's an important part. So one of the things is that this technology didn't come about just yesterday. It was a long time in development, and its development is really going to revolutionize how we take care of diseases and other things as we go forward. In the next 10 years, we will see metabolically mediated diseases being able to be cured. You know, we now have a cure for sickle cell. Most people don't even know that, but that comes about because of the technology. We can take and splice genes and take them out, put other genes in, and be able to re-engineer cells. And so it's revolutionary. So I think that we should take a part of that. We should also be keep and be vigilant, because the healthcare system in this country really doesn't have a contract for us. And throughout history, you can see that in many different ways. But now is an opportunity for us to move forward, because a lot of times we don't understand the healthcare system, and what we don't understand, we fear. We don't take appropriate access to healthcare, and that's another issue. So then developing trust, well, that's another problem, because you see very few people that look like me that are in the healthcare system. So it's important that we consider all of those things. But I think that we have to take those, understand the history. And once we understand the history and look to see what we can do to improve our own condition with regard to health in this country, we'll be far better off.
Wow, he just dropped a bomb. I did not know that there was a cure for sickle cell. My uncle passed away when he was about, I want to say about 63 years old, and at the time he was the oldest living sickle cell anemia patient on the West Coast, and that was many years ago. But I thank God that now we are going to be able to see people with the sickle cell, which was normally with African American people, that there are cures now.
Yes, we're going to see a lot more cures.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Madam President, any final words?
I just want to say that the NAACP San Diego branch stands ready to educate everyone. We want everyone to do their research and what's best for their family. And if getting the vaccination that Dr. Fauci took is important to you, this is the one he took, Moderna.
Well, thank you very much. You've been listening to GOD Radio 1, an intimate interview with the president of the NAACP San Diego branch and our very new health chair of the NAACP, Dr.
Robinson.
Dr. Robinson, right here on GOD Radio 1. Y'all be blessed.